existing building. And I'm sure the owner, instead of it having vacant, having clean graffiti and vandalism of it, would like it to be used because you want traffic.
Sure.
Traffic reduces crime.
Definitely.
So
and then there's the other buildings around. So, you got people coming. So then it fuels the other buildings. People.
Then the restaurants.
Commerce.
There's a laundromat there. I mean, if I'm waiting for my clothes, hey, I'd like to go over there and, get a book or read the paper for the day or, whatever.
Nice. Or learn another language on Rosetta Stone.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So now that was Measure A. Now you said that
Measure M.
Measure M, and you said that was what was discussed yesterday.
No, that was discussed April 1st. Now
April
let's
1st.
go to April 4th.
April 4th, okay.
April 4th was a general plan.
Right.
And that was talking about the land use. Now, a general plan has 8 essential elements to it. 8 required elements, and then there's 8 optional. The newest one, it was always 7, but the newest one is environmental justice, which I'm really excited about. Yeah. However, this one was talking about land use, but it was specifically focused on housing. Now, mind you, I was on the Planning Commission for 8 years, and I sat on the Planning Commission when we did the last general plan that I voted no on because I was concerned about the sprawl. Yes, I was, and I voted no. Chris Contos and I both voted no.
Yay.
But this one, we've approached it completely different. There's been many community meetings. I've attended 5 of those community meetings. There's actually more still to come. There'll be one May 1st. Yep. May 1st will be at Weston Ranch Library at 5:30 to 7. And then there'll be one May 2nd and Arnold Rue from 5:30 to 7 because we are not done. We're not even close to being done. But what we did agree on.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is Spotlight Lunch Hour here at KXVS, the voice of Stockton. I'm your host. My name is Jocelyn for Breaking Barriers. And today we have our guest, Celina Durrell. She is with Valley Tradeswomen, and she's here to talk about a lot of different things, actually, a lot of really cool things that are happening. She's got an event coming up on May 13th, and it's going to be taking place at Mickey Grove Park. And we'll get into that a little bit later because that's like a really cool event where, other tradeswomen can get together and network and meet each other in the area and even beyond the area. Thank you for being here, Celina. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Jocelyn. I'm excited to be here, and thank you for having me here on the show today.
Absolutely. When someone told me that you were interested in being in the show, I was like, yes, this is awesome. This is totally different. And this is kind of the realm that I kind of want to take the show, even though the show is breaking barriers through art. We're not limited to just that. There's other unique and creative things that are taking place within our community locally and outside of the community. One thing I do want to say, and this is something that I usually do, it's my little spiel here for the Voice of Stockton, KXVS. Our community is in need of such a voice. The Voice of Stockton, KXVS, has answered that call. We're building a new community radio station, your radio station, and we need your help. We're inviting everyone to join the effort so together we can build our citywide FM radio station. There are several ways to contribute. You can go online and donate to the Voice of Stockton via PayPal, and that's if you go to kxvs.org. You can also do it by mail. And we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so donations made to the Voice of Stockton can be tax deductible. Everything here is volunteer, and it's just a great format, a great forum for our community and a lot of local talent and local information and news. So, like I said, today our guest is Celina Durrell, and she is a carpenter. And it's kind of one of those things that traditionally is more of a guy's thing to do. I remember back in the 1940s, there was Rosie the Riveter, and she was the one that kind of broke that barrier and paved the way for this type of thing. All our men went to war, World War II, and the women were called in to help with some of the aerospace and building of the airplanes. And so I believe one of it was like a B-24 bomber, something like that. It's just that it was very unconventional, especially at the time. And I kind of am seeing a lot of that happening here with some of the tradeswomen, the women in like steel workers, electrical, like what Celina's in carpentry. And it's kind of neat to see. I was watching something earlier when I did a little bit of research on the topic. They're saying 3%, only 3% of women in trade are, it's just like a matter of 3% of people, of the women in the trades jobs, but and it's still lower than when women tried to break through in law enforcement. I believe it's like 15% of women make up law enforcement. So, Celina, how did you get into this trade?
Thank you. I know you had mentioned Rosie the Riveter, and it's funny that you mentioned that because she is kind of one of my idols. Yeah. And just recently, I was invited to one of the Rosie the Riveter events in the Bay Area, and I got to actually meet with some of the women on that forefront back in World War II who helped. Who were in the trades at that time. I mean, these women were, in their 80s, and to meet with them was just really, it was really exciting, very awesome and honored to be in the presence of some of the women who worked with Rosie the Riveter.
Very inspiring.
How did I get into construction or even carpentry? This is a late career change for me. I started this career change at 35 years old, and coming from a long history in retail management, little by little working, say, at like a Home Depot, I started to meet with, meet different contractors and started to kind of want to venture out into that field of of work, So I did. I got out of retail. And when I met my fiance, he is in the trades, and I knew at that time this is something I wanted to do. So I joined the Carpenters Union, and I've been really lucky to find a career that's very rewarding, and I love what I do.
Awesome. So it's something that you decided on later on.
Yes.
When you, as a child, what were you thinking that you would? What were some of the things you were thinking?
As a child, I actually remember wanting to be a police officer. I mean, it was something. And when my mom would take me to the store, it's like, Mom, I have to get the handcuff set and the little baton and the badge. I always wanted to be in law enforcement, and I'm fortunate because I do have some law enforcement in my family. I do have some police officers and in the family, but this trade is just really taken off, especially for women.
Yes, it's really neat. Like I said earlier, I was doing a little bit of research, and there's a film, a full feature documentary that they're putting together, and it's called Hard-Hatted Woman. And for those of you that are interested in learning more about that, if you go to hardhattedwoman.com, that's hattedwoman.com, you will find an interesting documentary. It's still in Kickstarter mode, and it's nearly done. They're going to present it next year at some of the smaller film festivals and stuff, but it does cover a lot of the women in the trade, like I said, the steel workers, the electrical, carpentry, heavy duty equipment workers. So it's kind of groundbreaking and quite a few trailblazers out there. Mm-hmm. So when you decided to start, is it like, do you go to school for it? Is it something that you go find, like, for somebody that's kind of interested in it? I know we've got a lot of young ladies out there that are interested in doing something different, just right out of high school or something. Yes. What are the steps that they can take?
That's a good question. And that's something that I'd like to, make public with my group is the certain steps that you can take, because like you mentioned, there are several trades. I'm in carpentry, but there are several different trades, and someone can always go on the website to calapprenticeship.org and see everything. Like you said, there's electricians, steel workers, engineers. I mean, there's so many, and there's a lot of them in the Bay Area. But what I recently found doing some background searching is there's some here in the Valley as well. So for an example, say if you a young person wants to get into the trades, I would first have them go to calapprenticeship.org so they can see the different types of trades. But once they do that, for an example, for me and the carpenters, I went online and to ctcnc.org and applied to their pre-apprenticeship program. And what a pre-apprenticeship program is, it's a 6-week, quote unquote, like a boot camp. They kind of prepare you for what you're going to encounter out there in the real world and give you tools and training, book work and physical training, so that you are prepared to go out and actually work. Once you complete this pre-apprenticeship program, you are then indentured into the union. And you're just you start off as an apprentice, and in about 4 years or so, with schooling and training, you become a journeyman. And it's been wonderful.
That's great. So that's definitely, so pre-apprenticeship. What is apprenticeship? Is that where you actually get to work with?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is an apprentice or apprenticeship? So an apprentice is someone who, apprenticeship, I think, is a term used by the union. It's kind of like a novice, right?
Okay.
So I'm a carpenter, but I'm an apprentice. I'm still learning, so that when 4 years from now, with my schooling and work hours, I will become a journeyman. I will be like a I don't know the right word as I'm trying to say, but I will be finished with an apprenticeship, and then I will be a journeyman. I'll journey out. I will have all the skills and training that I need
Nice.
to.
Okay.
So, yeah. So that's what a apprenticeship is.
Okay. So you took the steps in doing that, and then once you're out in the big world, what are some of the things that you really enjoy about it?
So, I get that question a lot, especially being a woman in the trades. When I tell someone I'm a carpenter, they're just like, what? Why is one of the things, and how did you get into it?
Right.
So again, one of the things why I got into it is because I could see that there is a need for women in the trades, and having a fiance who does this, I got into it. And once I started on a job, it is so satisfying to actually walk by a building or something and you say, you know what, I helped build that.
You had part in that.
I had part in that. And
definitely.
it's a rewarding career. It really is. It's something that you can get into, that you don't have to have a college degree. I've been to college, but I don't have a degree. So I got in right, with this union, and it's extremely rewarding. I get college credits, I get to go to school, and I get to work.
Nice.
And I get paid for it.
Nice.
So, and then just like I said, one of the things that I do like about the carpenters is that, I go home and I tell my daughter, honey, you can be anything you want to be. There's a lot of people who in the beginning are like, oh, you can't do that, or, oh, you're a girl, and, you can't lift this, this heavy piece of wood or something like that. And so I like breaking the barriers, so that's something that we're here to speak about, and that's what I do every day, is breaking barriers when I go to work.
What I really find intriguing about this whole trades thing is, for the longest time in my early 20s, after I got out of college, I was stuck. This is just my thing. I was in a booth, working in a cubicle. Never got a chance to really be outside, except for at the end of the day when the sun's finally setting, that typical routine. And something like this could really, you get to work with your hands. You get to spend time outside, gorgeous days like today. and like you said, also break those traditional molds and
Absolutely.
just those stereotypes that are there, and you're doing it because you enjoy it. My dad introduced me to motorcycling when I was a little girl. We used to take our dirt bikes out in like some of the rural areas, like back then in San Francisco, but and so when I decided in my teens that I wanted to ride a motorcycle, a street bike, my friends were like, no, you can't, because that's for guys, and I just thought, I didn't even think of that. I didn't think of it that way. I just kind of did it.
Right.
So that's one of those things that, like this thing right here, it completely intrigues me. And I think that it's so needed. And it's like another option for, the females to look into if they're really interested in, working with their hands. There's there's a huge creative process too with that.
Right.
It goes into woodworking, and carpentry, I think, is incredibly creative with some parts. You have to work within certain rules and stuff, but there's still, you got to be good at it. And that's the part where the creativity comes in.
Absolutely.
So, let's see here. We've got your upcoming event. I guess we can talk about that when we come back from break. David, we're going to go on break real quick for a few minutes, and then we'll regroup. And we'll see you soon here at Breaking Barriers in a few minutes. We're just going to go on a break real quick. And then we can talk about the events and stuff.
I'm not a general contractor, but I just, just so that we get the information. But I've been seeing a lot more come up recently, and that is really encouraging. So now this is all part of the Envision. Is this all part of Envision Stockton 2040, or is this?
No, the neighborhood traffic
it's just
program
business as usual.
It's state funded. We get allocations from the. I want to say it's state, not federal, but we do receive that, and we can apply for grants above and beyond. So, like the one at Montalban and Swain, there was a grant. If there's a need, we can do that. So the one I'm really working hard on is Pershing by Victory Park, because there's only 2 crosswalks, one at Acacia and one all the way up to Harding Way. And some people go, oh, well, people could use those, but people dart across the street all the time. I see parents with their children, especially at music at the park.
Yeah.
People are parking in the neighborhood, but the neighborhood that's to the east of Victory Park, they don't participate in a lot of things because they can't make it across anywhere, that they feel safely without going down to Acacia or up to Harding.
Yeah, every time I've been down there, that's what I see. It's
like leapfrog.
Yeah, it is. It's like going double dutch or something. You got to forward, back, trying to cross that street, and you start across, and then you got to come back and wait because the traffic doesn't match.
And the cars are flying there because they're trying to catch the light. The lights are timed, at a certain point.
And
so
the freeways right there.
Right. And so I'm really trying hard to get something there, a light, a beacon, something, a crosswalk that they can go through in order to get over reasonably to Victory Park, because that's our most used park that we have.
Yeah. Now you mentioned, I just want to remind folks the meeting for this Envision Stockton. You said it was May 1st and May 2nd. May 1st is in Western Ranch Library, and May 2nd is at the Arnold Rue Community Center over here north. Are these the final 2 meetings?
No. We're going to be having lots of meetings still for that. These are not the final 2. But these are the.
Hello, welcome back to Breaking Barriers, our spotlight show for Wednesdays. Spotlight shows are usually Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and sometimes on the weekends with David Molina, my engineer, because he's awesome. My name is Jocelyn. I'm your host for Wednesdays, Breaking Barriers. Like I said, we're here on high noon. Today it was really warm out there. We're waiting for the studio to open. So we got in and it was like, wow, it's cooler in here finally than it is outside. Usually it's the other way around. But anyway, we're going to get a chance to talk about the event with our guest, Celina Durrell. She's with Valley Tradeswomen, and she's got an event coming up on May 13th, Celina?
Yes. Saturday, May 13th.
Saturday, May 13th at noon, and it's going to be at Oak Grove Park.
Mickey Grove
Park.
Yes.
Why did I say Oak Grove Park? Mickey Grove Park. And tell us a little bit about the event and what we're trying to do here with the event. I know that it's a lot of networking and it's going to bring a lot of other tradeswomen together from the area. So yeah, tell me all about it.
Absolutely. So there's being in the trades. I've met a lot of women and I know there's a lot of work out here in the Valley. So I wanted to bring other trades together and kind of network out with, just the people here in Stockton, so that's why I created the Valley Tradeswomen Meetup Group. And we're going to have our first event, which is this Saturday, May 13th. And what it's about is just, there's going to be networking, meaning I'm going to have different trades come out. I've got some engineers, some electricians, pile drivers, carpenters, and then some
What's
people.
What's
a pile driver?
Wait, are you talking about the pile driver? The
pile drivers? Yes. Yeah.
Are you talking about like the big pile driver?
No, they actually operate a machine, so they're kind of like the first ones on a job site. So if you're building so for an example, out in the Bay Area, at BART, they took BART from the Oakland Coliseum and made a little thing to the airport.
Okay.
And so it goes above ground, like the BART,
Okay.
It's like a shuttle, right? A shuttle from there to the thing. And so in order to do that, they had to use a pile driver to put these posts or forms in the ground. So that way, it's kind of like building a bridge. They use a machine to drive.
That is heavy duty stuff.
It's really heavy duty. Actually, my brother actually is a pile driver as well. He's also in the union.
Wow.
So, we have some, union in the family, which is awesome. But I have one of my friends. She's a pile driver. She's going to be coming out to the event and she's going to speak. I have a couple of women coming from the Bay Area as well. So the event is just really kind of a first time get together and network. We're going to have we're going to be at one of the shelters called the Mokelumne Shelter. So what it is, Mickey Grove Park has, it's a beautiful place. They have a zoo and everything, but they also have different shelters. So I rented a shelter called the Mokelumne Shelter so everyone can come there, congregate, eat. We're going to have food. It's kind of going to be like a little potluck.
Nice.
And kids are welcome, even though this is a Valley Tradeswomen meetup group for women. Men are also welcome because I do know that there's men interested here in the Valley too, looking for work, looking to get
any kind of. I think networking in any, networking in general is just a great thing. You can find so many different resources that way. So yeah, definitely,
absolutely,
families and
it's gonna be fun. I think so. It starts at noon, and we're gonna have some hands-on activities. So for an example, some of the hands-on activities that we're gonna have are for the electricians, we're going to have like a little electrical box that people can wire up. We'll have like the directions on how to wire up electrical box, and at the end of the day, we'll have someone who is certified to do so come and actually make sure that they wired it correctly. Nice. And the light lights up. So that's going to be kind of fun. And then we'll have some blueprint reading exercises. So we'll have a blueprint on the table, and then we'll have like some questions, and you have to find out where to find it on the blueprint.
Is it like a treasure hunt?
No. Sort of. I wish. That'd be kind of fun. That'd be kind of fun. So looking at a blueprint kind of can be like a treasure hunt.
It is.
It's they're really detailed, and so learning how to read one can be difficult. So we're gonna have some directions, and you'll have to find say a certain light switch on the blueprint, and we'll have the answers. And so we'll just have people practice on that, and then we'll be able to look it over and see who got what right.
Yeah.
And then
there's different kinds of blueprints too, isn't there?
There's
layers upon layers. You've got it for electrical, for air conditioning, and oh my goodness. I remember this because I was in store construction. I was in the corporate end. I wasn't in the retail end. I was in the corporate end for Ross stores, and I would see the blueprints, and I'm like, nope. I'm done with that. It's just really complicated. So
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There are different layers.
So
I mean,
it's
they're
neat.
pretty big.
Once you're able to read it, it's like you're good.
Yes.
You're not gonna get lost.
I think that's something too that can just really help someone, figure out if that's the avenue they want to go to in the trades, and then for the kids, we'll have I'm going to print out some themed, carpenters, or even like some Rosie the Riveter type coloring pages for the kids to draw and color. So we got something for the kids too, and then we're gonna have a raffle. So at the end of the day, we'll have some music, some kind of empowering type music, and at the end of the day, we're gonna do a raffle. We got some nice things to give away.
All right, viewers, you heard it. If you know anyone who's interested in the trades, or any young person that's even interested, I think this would be a great resource and event for them to go to, because you're going to have people who are in this field right there. So again, that's going to be Saturday, May 13th at Mickey Grove Park, starting at noon. And like Celina said, there's going to be all kinds of stuff going on. It'd probably be a few hours, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So did you want anybody to RSVP to just kind of let them know head count?
So that's a good question. I'd definitely like, if possible, if you guys can RSVP, what you can do is you can go to the website, which is meetup.com, and then search Valley Tradeswomen Meetup. And on there, you can sign up to be part of the group, and then you can also RSVP, or you can also give me a call. The number is area code 209-565-2230, or you can send me an email at valleytradeswomenmeetup.com at gmail.com. So it's pretty long, but
yeah, we'll bring it up again towards the end of the show. I kind of wanted to show everyone a little video clip from this documentary. I just found it absolutely awesome online, and let me see if I could get I'm going to see if I can get the actual the video for it. And they have a Kickstarter too. This is what kind of the information that this documentary, my sister's law firm are one of the people that are backing it. And I think it's just incredibly fascinating. I think it's really important to see if I can get I don't think I can get the volume up. Too bad. Okay, so basically if you go to hardheadedwoman.com, you can see this footage, this documentary that they're filming. I would say it's something that's going to probably most likely end up being at Sundance Film Festival.
That's awesome.
It's just that. These are just the images, but it is amazing to hear some of these women, some of their struggles, the different stereotypes that they're going through.
Yes.
I was just completely blown away, when I first saw it. And that's why I thought it's something that I could maybe share.
That's actually really interesting. Some of the things that I'm seeing right now from the hard-hatted woman, one of them, she was using an auger. And on my first day doing concrete formwork, I had to use an auger. And I was like, oh my God, I've never used this before. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So, I do think there's a lot of high demand for women in trades, but there's a lot that we do face even to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy. So to see this documentary is cool, because I actually can relate to some of the things that they're actually going through and what they're doing.
Yeah, I was absolutely intrigued, and some of the women that they were interviewing, their background and some of their experiences is pretty amazing as well. So it's such a dynamic trade to get into, and it's something that's so unique and different that not very many women get into, and some of the struggles that they have, even to this day, because it's so male dominated, that it's good to see, that that we have all these other options. There's women that are like constantly on the go, moving around, climbing, crawling, doing all kinds of things. And that's not something that I personally am not used to, because I've always been stuck in a cubicle, and that completely intrigues me, because we don't get out enough. We don't move around enough. Yeah. So this is something that if you want to be active and doing things, this is it. This is the field for you.
Absolutely.
Again, hardhattedwoman.com is the documentary that they're putting together. The director is based out of, I believe, the Bay Area. Celina here is trying to get everybody within the area together for a networking event at Mickey Grove Park on May 13th, Saturday. It's at noon. And any of you who are interested, go ahead and visit that day at Mickey Grove. And what location is it going to be again?
It's going
I know
to
Mickey Grove is huge.
It's really huge. The shelter is the Mokelumne Shelter, which is going to be near the zoo and the Fun Town. Fun Town is like a little amusement park for the kids.
Town.
Yeah. So bring the kids out for sure.
For sure. And even though it is called Valley Tradeswomen, like she said earlier, it's open to everybody. They welcome everyone. Absolutely, because it's important for them to just expand with, find resources and other people too. Your whole family be there?
Yes, hopefully, yes. Yes.
So are you allowed to talk about some of your current projects?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So right now I'm with a construction company out of Tracy called Gowan Construction. Mm-hmm. And what I do, again, I'm a first period apprentice, and what people may not know about apprentices or first period, meaning I'm still fairly new to the trade. I have worked less than 600 hours, so mm-hmm. I'm first period. And eventually within 4 years, and with all of my training, I will move up to journeyman. But I'm still new to the trade, and being an apprentice is kind of like a helper. So I work with the journeyman, and I do right now. I live for Moore Lawrence Labs, and that's pretty. Wow. They're pretty secretive up there.
I mean, bet.
It's yeah. We have to have security everywhere we go. But for the gist of it, I do some metal stud framing. Mm-hmm. So most of the time when you see business buildings, their frames typically are not wood. They're usually metal stud. So that's what I'm currently working on, metal stud framing, and we do sheetrock, and then we basically we're building. Yeah.
I think before, a long time ago, it used to be wood, and
it
proved to not be, not as effective, maybe.
I think most of the, again, I'm still fairly new, but I think most of the businesses are moving to metal stud, and more residential, typically you'll see the wood stud. And I have wood framing experience as well. Mm-hmm. Prior to going with Gowan, I was at a project called Shimmick, a construction company called Shimmick Construction, and I worked doing concrete formwork. And let me tell you,
concrete's heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy, and I was the only woman. I was the only female on site with, probably 50 carpenters, and I was the only woman, and I was up in a mountain. And I as a carpenter, we wear nail bags. These things are heavy. They're like 30 pounds. So I did a lot of up and down ladders and help build concrete forms for the concrete. So it's very interesting, but it is truly, truly hard work.
At the end of the day, you're like, you feel so rewarded, like, okay, I'm done. I worked today for sure.
Absolutely. I think there were times on that particular project that I cried, and it was funny because I cried from sheer pain, physical and mental anguish, but also from it was rewarding at the same time. I was like, oh my god,
once you get through it.
I was like, I did
exactly
that. It was it was great. It's a good feeling.
I know. There's a lot of things that we sometimes get into that are incredibly challenging, and it's just blood, sweat, and tears that you put into it, and then but at the end you're like, oh, wow, I did it.
Don't give up.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of the things, like I said, Hard-Hatted Woman is very inspiring. I think a lot of people should check out that website, check out their Kickstarter. I believe that they're going to be releasing that full feature documentary sometime in 2018. It is great to even, talk to somebody who's in that field to kind of understand and get some clarification on what's going on, what's it about, because it's something that's kind of untapped for women.
Yes.
So with the, I was going to ask you, with this event that's coming up, I know that we want to try and encourage some of our younger ladies that could possibly be interested in it. Summer's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are graduating. They need to know what other opportunities there are out there. Not everybody's going to want to be in the office. Not everybody's going to want to be in retail. So this is another wonderful option for them to kind of be involved, working with their hands, being in an environment that's constantly moving on the go.
Right.
So
Right.
I find it awesome. If I could, I would do that. I think it's neat. But so your current projects are with the site at Lawrence Livermore Labs.
Correct.
And
Yes.
then you've had a few others before that.
Yes.
Can you talk about what was like the most the ones that were most challenging for you? I think
Yeah.
is starting out, there's always something that you're going to be learning more things when in the beginning.
Correct.
So
Correct.
what are some of the things that you felt were really challenging for you?
Some of the things that were most challenging, I think, was, of course, my first job, first time in the union. I clearly remember on my first day, there was a security guard at the gate, and he said, "Oh, you're going up there, up the hill to work, up the mountain." And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, good luck with that." He goes, "The women don't last long."
Oh, interesting.
I said, "Really?" And so I remember going up there working for my first time, and it really was blood, sweat, and tears, like seriously. But it was challenging to me because I was the novice, the apprentice, and here I am with a whole bunch of journeymen, so they already know what they're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
I had to keep up, so I had to make up in speed what I lacked in knowledge, and that's something that can be challenging because you're like, okay, go, do fast,
Yeah.
but sometimes you don't know what you're doing, so you have to like watch and pay attention. And some of the things that were challenging for me were just being in that environment of like real construction. I mean, when I say real construction, I mean it was rebar everywhere. It's uneven surfaces, and learning to watch and then mimic and do. So I had to watch someone and then build something right after that. So then that was a challenge, and I have to say I was proud of myself because they didn't get rid of me. I finished that job, and my superintendent and the project manager were really shocked that I hung in there.
That's amazing.
Don't give up.
That's awesome, Celina. I feel really blessed to have gotten a chance to meet you. It kind of, for me, introduced me to something that I would have never even looked into before because, we're always so on this path of day in, day out doing our thing, but then something like this completely introduced me to a whole another world. When we come back, we're going to talk about what she's got in store for the future, what she's planning on doing, and maybe some hopes and inspiration for the rest of us here tuned in. Thank you. We'll be back in a few minutes. My name is Jocelyn. I'm the host for Breaking Barriers here on KXVS, the voice of Stockton. We'll see you in a few. Hello, welcome back to Breaking Barriers, our spotlight show for the day. We have spotlight shows Monday through Friday, sometimes on weekends during the lunch hour, high noon, especially today, super high noon at 90 degrees outside. No, we were just talking about Celina's experience with when she was learning painting. You were doing, and David, I guess that's one of his favorite things to do too, is painting. And it's not as simple as it seems. Here I am thinking, I'm just going to tape everything off and just slap the color on the walls. We're done. No. Well, especially if your walls are probably as tall as a warehouse wall. But you were saying that you were working with a piece of equipment, right?
Oh yes. So I was fortunate enough to use a hopper in some of the projects
that's what
that I had to paint. So there's a lot of different techniques that David was talking about.
Yeah.
You can hand paint, but for bigger projects you get to use a hopper, which makes like a spray, and so it makes it a whole lot easier.
Oh, it's like they call it just like a spray, like
a sprayer, like a paint sprayer. Yeah.
Yeah.
They put it in a thing and they call it a hopper, and you put the paint in. And
how do you get that to higher places, to tall areas?
There's a cord,
just okay?
And then there's a really long. I don't.
It's just an extension, a long hose. Yeah. Okay, got it. Oh my goodness. So now that we're back, this is Celina Durrell. She's my guest for the day. She is with Valley Tradeswomen. She is here to discuss an upcoming event taking place on Saturday, May 13th at Mickey Grove Park at noon. And there's going to be all kinds of activities, food. Everybody's welcome. Great way to network. Great way to introduce the trades with someone who's young who could be interested in it. Yes. Wonderful option for our young ladies who think that there's all they have is just certain, being in an office or whatever, but there's other things too. Being outdoors and working with your hands is definitely one of them here with the Tradeswomen group. You can check it out, like I said, Saturday, May 13th. And you were hoping that maybe people would contact you for maybe a head count, if you could provide some of your contact information to RSVP.
Absolutely. To RSVP, you could go to the meetup.com. and then search Valley Tradeswomen Meetup, and you could become a member to the meetup group, and or you can RSVP that way as well, or you can just reach out on Facebook. I mean, a lot of people have Facebook now.
That's
so
true.
When you go on Facebook, just search Central Valley Tradeswomen Meetup. So again, that's Central Valley Tradeswomen Meetup on Facebook. Again, it's just a networking group to kind of bring together different trades and people interested in getting into the trades or wanting to learn more about the trades. I kind of want to put something else out there that, I'm in the Carpenters Union. I'm not a representative of the union, but I am a carpenter for Local 152 out of Manteca. And, you can always go on their website and get more information if you're interested in learning how to become a carpenter. So you can always go to ctcnc.org. Also, there's an operating engineers here in Stockton, and they actually have a orientation coming up soon.
Ooh, that's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know I didn't speak about money, but I do want to say this, that the unions tend to pay very well. So, there's operating engineers, and their next meeting is May 17th.
May 17th, that's great. Yeah.
So, and they start off, $20-something an hour. So, there's so many different trades out there, and I know that I see people here all the time, at the WorkNet and places like that, and some of these temporary staffing, and I'm just like, man, have you guys even thought about looking into unions?
Yeah.
There's so many out here, and that's why one of my, the group that I have is to kind of get that word out there. So
nice. So it's Valley Tradeswomen is a great resource. Again, meetup group. Valley Tradeswomen,
Yes, Valley Tradeswomen.
to find out more information. And their event is coming up here on May 13th. We were talking about mentoring some of our youth. We're going to have a whole slew of kids that are going to be graduating soon, less than a month, I would say. And they're going to go either to community college, go off into another college, go out into the workforce. Something like this is a wonderful opportunity to have them learn more about the trades. Is there a resource for our youth, the ones that are
Yes.
for mentoring maybe?
Absolutely. I actually have a friend who went to Youth Build, and me and her actually ended up working on a project building sheds for a company in Manteca. So there's it's called Youth Build, and it's by San Joaquin County Office of Education. And what they do is they have students, both men and women, say right out of high school or having trouble, having some trouble in high school and kind of want to go a different route. And so they have this group. They need mentors. So if you have, if you know the trades or you have, some trade experience, I would definitely reach out to Youth Build.
Are they located? They're probably in Manteca.
They're
I
in
actually
Stockton.
have the San Joaquin County Office of Education website up on one of our cameras. So I think for those that are in the trades and are interested in mentoring some of our youth, I definitely encourage you to go in and see what you can help out with and volunteer. It's so important for our local community to know, especially our youth, to know what options they have out there. In this area especially,
Yes.
it'd be great to have everybody work near here and not have to commute, not have to go over the Altamont,
That's
not
right.
have to go
Yeah.
to Sacramento or, anywhere. If we could just keep the employment within our city, it would be great. So
Absolutely.
it's important, I think, for the if there's any mentors that want to help out some of our youth, I definitely look into it with the San Joaquin County Office of Education.
Yes, and they actually, I have a few contacts. One with Youth Build, they call her Miss Cat. Her name is Kathleen, or Caitlin, and Douglas, who's one of the project coordinators there, and then Rocky Wolf, who is with San Joaquin County Office of Education. And he runs a school that I went to, which is a construction technology course.
Nice.
It is for adults, and it is here in Stockton. And he always, is always looking for people to come out and speak to some of the students. I go regularly and speak to the students about
good.
trades and things. So they actually, I will have a few people from San Joaquin County Office of Education coming out to the event as well.
That's great. I know, have you guys had a chance to visit Weston Ranch High School? I'm sure you have.
I've lived in Western Ranch with my parents for a long time, and my brother and sister graduated from Western Ranch High School. So yes, I don't know if they have a program there for
It's Manteca Unified. It's kind of hard to tell.
Okay.
I don't know either, but
I know Lincoln High School has one. I know they have a program, but I definitely can reach out to the school. I'm not for sure if they do.
yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for those that are in the trades. It's something that you can put back into your community
Right.
and help out with the future of our kids too. It's really important. Like I said, there's going to be a whole new slew of kids graduating, and the trades is definitely an option because. What are other things that there's steelworking, there's electric, there's painting, there's anything in construction that you can think of. It's so vast. It's huge.
It's huge. Absolutely.
So it's not just limited to just one thing. You even said something about an elevator exam.
Yes. Even though I'm a carpenter, and I'm still new in the trades. So I know that I want to stay in the trades. I still have keen in on exactly where I want to retire from. So I did apply at the elevator union, and they're pretty hard to get into. So I'll find out in May on how well I did on my interview.
Awesome.
I'm pretty excited about that. So
I think in closing, I want to just kind of talk about like what are some of your hopes and you know, future things that you have coming up, and
Gotcha.
and even, you know, you've got a daughter.
Yes.
You know, so
and it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter, before I even got into the union, it's so funny because my fiance, he does trades, but he's more residential. And so prior to even getting into the union, me and my daughter went to one of his houses, to his projects, and my daughter was like, "Mommy, I want to help," and so she helped grout the tile. It was just, you know, she was like 6 years old.
That
she was like,
neat.
so I was showing her how to grout tile. It's so, you know, the kids see what we do, of course, and they're like, okay, well, hey, you know, I want to try. So I have a passion for networking. I have a passion for advocating. I have a passion for teaching. So anything that I learn, you know, as I meet new apprentices or, you know, people in general, I was like, hey, you know what? If I know how to build this wall, if you got some time, I'll show you how to do it, you know, or anything that I can pass on to anyone, I try to do, because I like being a mentor. So it's in my blood. I think in the future, I'd love for you know, maybe one day the Valley Tradeswomen Meetup group could become an organization, you know. That would be great. But as far as, you know, just in general, I think what I'd like to see is just networking with people so that we can get the word out there. There are jobs here in the Valley. There are jobs here in Stockton.
It's really
you know?
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way I see this is, and I have like a very unique way of looking at things, grouting. Something as simple as grouting. Do you know how many interesting projects? Have you been on Pinterest lately?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Pinterest.
Like,
okay.
look at this.
Tiling.
Yeah.
And just learning those little things to create, like, say, a really cool little neat art table or something with
Yes.
tiles.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to grout. I mean, I can learn. I'm sure it's, you know, not that difficult, but there is a technique to it.
Absolutely.
There's something very creative about that. And a lot of other things, too, like different textures on the walls for paint. I tried to marbleize my fireplace with paint. I got to show you a picture.
Oh, wow.
It's really, it actually turned out pretty good. So this was a long time ago when we first moved into our house, but you know, paint techniques, things like that, Pinterest. You guys don't think, okay, this is not really going to connect, but actually it's pretty creative.
I love Pinterest.
Do you? Okay, so you got
yes.
boards and boards of stuff.
And it's so funny because once you start learning how to do things, you know, like you did your fireplace, once you start learning, then you want to keep doing.
Yes.
And so next thing you know, I'm sure in your house, you're like, okay, look, we got this project and this one and this one and this one and this one. Because it's just kind of cool, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Thank you so much, Celina, for being here. Celina Durrell, my guest today at Breaking Barriers. I'm Jocelyn, your host. Every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Next week, we're going to have an avid photographer, landscape photographer, and traveler. His name is Larry, and I'll show you guys some more information if you tune into my Facebook page. My name is Jocelyn Conde on Facebook. And also Spotlight on the Arts. We've got a page there that you can like on Facebook. But I'm going to provide some little bits and pieces about Larry from now until next week, because he is asking for questions about either in photography and woodworking. He likes to tinker and make furniture, little wood furniture. So I'm going to have pictures posted on that, and he's going to want everybody to ask him questions. So that's going to be Larry next week here on Breaking Barriers, 12 to 1 Spotlight Show. Thank you, Celina.
Thank you.
Thanks, David, always. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.